What if you could turn any Unity scene into anime, manga, watercolor, or comic book art with a single component, no custom shaders to write, no pipeline headaches, just drag, drop, and look incredible? This is CelShaderFX, and in the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through everything it can do. Getting started takes about 30 seconds. Once you import CelShaderFX from the Asset Store, you'll find a setup wizard under the CelShaderFX menu. It detects your render pipeline automatically, built-in URP or HDRP, and configures everything for you. For the simplest workflow, just create a CelShader settings asset, right-click in your project window, go to create CelShaderFX settings, then drop that onto the CelShaderFX component on your camera. That's it, your cel shading. Everything is controlled from this one scriptable object. Every slider, every toggle, every effect, all in one place. And because it's a scriptable object, you can save different configurations as presets and swap between them instantly. Let's start with the two effects you'll use the most: cel shading and outlines. Cel shading quantizes your scene's colors into discrete bands. You control how many bands with a single slider. 2 bands gives you that high contrast anime shadow look. 4 bands is the classic, and you can go all the way up to 16 for something more subtle. If you want total creative control, you can plug in a custom ramp texture or define a 4-color palette. The palette mode is great for stylized games where you want to lock the entire scene to a specific color scheme. Now, outlines. CelShaderFX gives you 5 different edge detection methods. Sobel is your all-rounder, clean, reliable, fast. Roberts is sharper, great for high contrast scenes. Canny picks up finer details, and difference of Gaussians gives you softer, more organic looking edges. But the one I really want to show you is JFA, Jump Flood Algorithm Outlines. This is a multi-pass distance field technique that lets you push outlines up to 64 pixels wide. You get controls for softness, inner to outer ratio, and even a glow effect. These are the kind of thick cinematic outlines you see in Borderlands or Guilty Gear, and they're fully real time. Where CelShaderFX really stands out is in the artistic effects. There are 6 of them, and you can combine any of them together. Kuwahara filtering gives you a painterly, oil painting look. There are 4 variants: basic, generalized, anisotropic, and polynomial. Polynomial Kuwahara is the most advanced. It follows the direction of edges in the image, so brush strokes naturally align with the structure of the scene. Pair it with the painterly module for visible brush strokes, canvas texture, and even impasto relief. Extended difference of Gaussians is a manga and ink illustration effect. Crank it up and your scene looks like it was drawn with a brush pen. Switch to color mode and the ink lines blend with your scene's natural colors. It's incredible for cutscenes or visual novel style games.
Hatching generates cross-hatching lines that respond to the scene's lighting. Darker areas get denser hatching. Lighter areas stay clean. You can run it in screen space, world space, view space, or object aligned. World space is particularly nice because the lines stay anchored to surfaces as the camera moves.
Halftone gives you classic comic book dot patterns. Choose between dots, lines, or diamonds. Dithering supports Bayer, blue noise, and spatiotemporal blue noise for that retro or print feel. Watercolor adds edge darkening, pigment granulation, and paper grain for a hand-painted look. If you don't want to build a look from scratch, CelShaderFX ships with 10 built-in presets. Open the preset browser from the CelShaderFX menu, and you can preview and apply them with one click. There's everything from clean anime to gritty manga to soft watercolor, and of course you can create your own presets and share them across scenes or with your team. This is where the pro tier comes in. Object cell shading is a per-object cell shading system. Instead of applying effects to the entire screen, you can add the object cell shading component to individual objects and give each one its own look. One character can have classic anime shading with rim lighting, another can have hatching with a matte cap material, a third can be completely excluded from all effects. It supports normal mapping, PBR specular face, SDF shadows for stylized character faces, and it's fully GPU instanced through material property block, so even with hundreds of objects, the performance cost is minimal. For the ultimate tier, you get Cell Modular Controller, a full programmatic API. This is for studios and tool developers who need runtime control. You can enable and disable individual effect modules through code, blend between presets at runtime and control every parameter programmatically. Imagine transitioning from a bright, colorful overworld to a dark, hatched dungeon, all driven by your game logic. No scene reloads, no asset swapping. The API is clean, documented, and ships with code examples. A quick note on performance. CelShaderFX is designed for real time. The core cell shading and standard outlines run in a single pass. Even JFA outlines with their multi-pass approach stay well within frame budget on mid-range hardware. There is a built-in mobile quality mode that reduces sampling and disables expensive features for mobile and lower-end targets. And with shader keywords, only the features you enable actually run on the GPU. CelShaderFX comes in 3 tiers. Essentials gives you all 8 post-process effect modules, all 5 outline methods, 10 presets, and full source code across all 3 pipelines. Pro adds object cell shading for per-object control, and Ultimate adds the CL Modular Controller programmatic API with runtime blending and code examples. All tiers include the same core effects. You're choosing how much control you need. CelShaderFX is available right now on the Unity Assets Store. Links are in the description. If this looks like something that would work for your project, grab it, try it out, and let me know what you think. I'd love to see what you create with it. Thanks for watching.